In a world still haunted by shadows of the past, where magical stories shape generations and film becomes folklore, a new firestorm has sparked, not in the corridors of Hogwarts but in the hearts of those who cannot separate fiction from prejudice. And into that storm walks Jason Isaacs, wandless but not powerless. The man who once embodied Lucius Malfoy, the pureblood supremacist draped in opulence and disdain, has now stood against real-world bigotry with no cloak, no charm, and no hesitation. Because when silence feels safe, Isaacs chooses to speak. When fans lashed out online at the casting of Paapa Essiedu, a brilliant British actor of Ghanaian descent, as Severus Snape in the upcoming HBO, Harry Potter, adaptation, some voices recoiled. Some stayed quiet. But Isaacs, true to form, did not. At Fan Expo Denver, in front of a crowd of fans still clinging to the nostalgia of the wizarding world, Isaacs stood tall, not as Lucius but as Jason. Not as a character, but as a man. And he said it plainly. He said it clearly. He said it with conviction. I've seen some people online who are being rude about him. What they're being is racist. No spell, no wand movement, just truth. Because let's be honest, there's no reason to oppose Paapa Essiedu's casting except one rooted in discomfort, in insecurity, and yes, in racism. Alan Rickman was a towering figure. A masterful actor. A beloved portrayal of complexity and pain. But Alan Rickman is gone. And stories must evolve. And Paapa Essiedu, he is no stranger to complexity. No stranger to pain. No stranger to excellence. He's a Royal Shakespeare Company standout. A BAFTA nominee. A man whose performances burn with depth and discipline. He has taken on Hamlet. He has stood against death and madness on stage. He has grieved, loved, destroyed, and transcended, all in character. And now, he steps into the robes of Severus Snape. A man divided. A man tormented. A man misunderstood. And still, there are those who cling to skin over soul. To hue over humanity. They scream, but Snape was white. Without hearing what they're really saying. They invoke accuracy, as if the world of Harry Potter, with dragons, giants, elves, and flying brooms, was bound by real-world racial codes. They hide their racism behind canon. Behind nostalgia. Behind the face of Alan Rickman, as if honoring him means blocking all others. But Jason Isaacs sees through it. And when a former Malfoy calls out prejudice, you listen. Because he knows what it looks like, in fiction and in life. He played the villain so he could teach what villainy looks like. And now, the actor behind the wig, the cane, the sneer, has stepped into his most important role yet, the defender of decency. He said Paapa Essiedu is one of the best actors I've ever seen in my life. And that is not flattery. That is fact. He has the talent. He has the range. He has the power to redefine a role, not erase it. Because art is not preservation, it is reimagination. Isaacs, at 62, has seen it all. The cheers, the awards, the fans, the trolls. He could have said nothing. He could have walked the line of neutrality, preserved his legacy in silence. But he didn't. Because when art is threatened by hate, silence is betrayal. Because when a black actor is attacked not for his performance, but for his presence, the response must be swift, and it must be strong. Jason Isaacs didn't have to say anything. But he chose to. Because decency is a choice. Because allyship is a verb. Because the Harry Potter legacy doesn't belong to one image. It belongs to the world, a world where imagination should never be limited by pigmentation. To those who say this is about tradition, Isaacs responds with truth. To those who cry for authenticity, he responds with reality. To those who attack Paapa Essiedu not for his ability but for his ancestry, he responds with fire. Because talent is not white. And Snape is not a monument. He's a character, built of wounds, secrets, and love unspoken. And Paapa, he will bring new colors to that pain. New poetry to that silence. New meaning to the words, always. Jason Isaacs didn't have to defend him. But he did, as a fellow actor, as a mentor, as a man. Because this isn't about one casting decision. It's about the right to dream without borders. It's about the right to be seen, not as a symbol, but as a storyteller. And Paapa Essiedu, with grace, with gravity, with greatness, is stepping into that role. Let the doubters watch. Let the haters stew. But the magic continues, in deeper hues, with richer voices. Because representation isn't a trend. It's a right. And Jason Isaacs, with one statement, reminded us of that. The boy who once served the Dark Lord now stands with the light. And the world of Harry Potter just got a little more powerful, and a lot more just.